Welcome back to Donslife. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining today. Today, because you've asked a lot of questions, I'm going to do my best to answer them. But Mrs. Donslife is going to read each of your questions from one of the posts I put up on my community page. I told you to ask me anything, don't be shy, and I'll do my best to answer it. So let's go. All right, before we get started, have a look over my shoulder. That's from our friends over at Iconic Badges. So I'm wearing the hat. They were gracious enough to send me a sign, which really validates the Donslife channel. Now it feels real. Anyway, let's get on with the questions.
Okay, so first we have at James Golden 7743, and he asked, love the AT4 and how the build came out. It looks great, man. It does. Would you stick with your GMC and buy another AT4, like maybe an AT4X, or would you go Chevy? Do you want to answer that first?
Yeah, sure. So interest rates would have to be a lot better than they are right now. They would have to be at or lower than the current interest rate that I have on the payments I'm making on my 21. So if they were that or lower, I would be interested in probably the AT4X. I also want to keep in mind that the 2025 is supposedly going to be the refresh year where there's a new body, new powertrain, new interior again. So hopefully that information, if it is going to be true, starts to come out next year. So I might want to wait till then anyway, just so I know for sure. And if I'm excited about what I see, yes! It becomes the truth, I'll probably go put a deposit down and get one on order. And then I'll have the first generation problems. So now I'm starting to stress myself out. Maybe I shouldn't even think about it and just take a break.
Then he says, second question I have for you is, would you wrap your mirrors in that green color to match the rest of the truck? Or are you going to leave it the way it is?
I think I'll leave it the way it is for right now. I don't plan on keeping the khaki green wrap on there for too long. It would take me really 20-30 minutes to wrap those mirrors green. So I can't say no, but I don't think I'm gonna.
Okay, so next we have Danny6192. Would you recommend any floor mats? I've been looking to get some for my AT4, but can't decide what's best, for example, WeatherTech or Husky or Last Fit.
Well, if price is no object, I would go WeatherTech. I've had them for many different vehicles and they're pretty consistent. They also have the clips, at least in the AT4 or the GMC Sierras, that secure the driver's side floor mat and keep that in place. Now, if price is a concern, then Last Fit seems to be a great cheaper option, and they still have the clips for the driver's side mat as well, and they look really good. I've never seen them in person though. And then if you're kind of middle of the road, well, the Huskies are a great product. I've used those before. They are kind of in the middle of the price range. I just don't know if they have the same clips that I was talking about with the other two brands. So if you're torn, much like I am, so this is a tricky one to answer, I would probably buy one of each so you get a good variety.
So the next one we have is at NST320. Okay, I have a couple of questions. Have you thought about or considered doing a DFM delete on your Sierra? Only complicated issue I see is reprogramming the ECU. Purchasing a Pulsar seems to be the easiest way to avoid programming the ECU. Second question, what do you think about the larger radio screens in the new Sierras? Would this be one of the reasons you would consider in trading for a new Sierra? And do you know of any aftermarket radios that can be installed into older trucks without any issues? I have a 2020 Sierra SLT with a 5.3. I discovered there is a TSB on older models concerning lost communication with the radio, which affects features like lane guidance, rear parking, etc. Thank you for all the mods you've done on your Sierra. I just need an extra change so I can start my customization.
All right, there's a lot there. So I'll start with the DFM piece. So a Pulsar LT now makes more sense to me and probably the best option because I now have oversized tires, so I can calibrate the tires. You have a pedal commander and you really like it. I know because every time I get in, I have to turn it down a little bit in her Escalade. So I can also do the throttle response control with the Pulsar LT. Not as many settings that you have. Still, I can make that adjustment. So for disabling DFM, the oversized tires, the throttle response, that would be good. I don't think I would get my ECU unlocked and program it or tune it. At least not yet. The truck's still under warranty. If it was out of warranty, I may consider it. Disabling DFM by driving an L9, I'm so accustomed to it right now. That's probably what I'll keep doing, at least for the short term. But I haven't ruled out the Pulsar LT. Now, of course, I love the new screens and the new interior. She has her Cadillac Escalade, so it's kind of like an in-between when it comes to the two different offerings, and I actually like her screen a lot more than I like mine. But it wouldn't be the main motivating factor for me to change. I think it'd be more of a would be nice. And also, I have not found an aftermarket screen or infotainment replacement solution for the 2019 to 22.5R model of GMC Sierras. I do have a bit of a background in 12 12-volt car audio video installation, and what I can tell you is often, not always, and they're always getting better, but a lot of those aftermarket solutions, even from reputable brand names, there tends to be some workarounds or some extra steps involved to get those extra features, and they don't quite work as seamlessly as OEM. Not that OEM works seamlessly all the time either, but I'll keep watching. I just haven't seen anything for this current, or the generation that I have, or the newest refresh. I'm sure things will come out, but for me right now, just having CarPlay and then having that Android box that you see that I've reviewed, and there's a few different versions of it, using that adds a bunch of extra apps, a bunch of extra features, and so far I'm enjoying that.
Okay, Judman007, like that. Where the heck did you find the time to make all these videos, let alone actually perform them? 2, I would love to try wrapping cars and possibly tinting windows. Can you recommend a good starting toolkit for both? And 3, Donslife AT4 zip-up hoodies. Let's go.
Let's go. So where do I find the time? Well, you could probably answer that for me, but I will take a crack at it. So
I don't know where you find the time.
I do plan my videos well in advance, at least a framework for them. They're not really scripted per se, but I have an idea of what I want to show and what I want to do. So I plan 3 to 5 videos in advance. At my age, with my family, the age that they are now, I mean, they're mostly independent with the exception of her. She needs me around. But I'm not out partying anymore. I'm not out, just being silly at all hours of my free time.
No boys' nights.
No boys' nights, really. So I spend my time doing what I like, and that's these projects. And I've decided to share them with you.
And sometimes this is family time because the kids help.
That is correct.
But you know what they say, if it's important, you'll make the time, and growing my YouTube audience is important to me, so I make the time. Now, as for getting into wrapping, I started about 2006. First thing I did is I wrapped the roof on my Mazda RX-8 at the time with a carbon fiber weave. Man, that material has come a long way. But what I recommend is just order some samples, start with something small. A mirror is a little tricky, but you could do a portion of the mirror just to get used to stretching and cutting. You could do a roof if it's not contoured and things like that. That would be pretty simple. And you can just get basic wrap tools even on Amazon. I link a lot of that stuff in my video descriptions or in my link tree. My link tree is actually better because there's a document there that we update every few months that just keeps growing. Everything I've ever done that I've recalled anyway is linked there, and it's a good option for people to check out. But you just really need a good knife, 30-degree angle cut, a couple good squeegees with felt edges that you can replace, a wrap glove or 2, a clean environment to work in. I don't recommend doing it outside if you don't have to. I've seen people do it. You want a 0 wind day for something like that, not too much humidity. But it's possible, just practice and start with the little stuff. You could even wrap the lid of a laptop. Just be careful with the heat gun on that one. You don't want to burn up your laptop. Now, a good starter film, I always recommend Avery SW900. That's a series of film. You can get it in a variety of colors. It's not the best film out there by any means, but it's got to be one of the easiest to play around with, stretch a little further than some of the others, more forgiving, and it's a great way to practice. Now for the merch. Hey, if people want Donslife merch, I'll probably start to create it. It is kind of an early planned thought. I have some ideas. I'm not a person that likes giant, huge logos and things like that. So I can imagine something like the Donslife logo right there, and maybe the original logo, and we'll have different series like the OG logo, the current logo. Maybe there'll be a future logo featuring new vehicles in it, because that one has a couple. If you've paid attention, you'll see what's there. But I want them to be, minimal, tasteful, and I want to find a vendor that's going to make stuff that fits nice and feels nice, good quality, and most importantly, great value.
Sign me up.
So coming soon, but I really don't know how soon. But comments on here might push me to do it. And she'll probably have a helping hand in that because she's just good at that stuff.
I'm good at shopping. Okay, here we go. At John Harrison 712. Who does your editing? What is your main job besides YouTube? And what would your dream job be?
All right, so who does my editing? You are looking at him. I am by no means a professional editor.
I can tell.
I have made so many mistakes and learned from them, as one does. The biggest lesson that I've learned from doing my own editing is watch the volume of your music.
Are my ears hearing this?
Early on, I was heavily influenced by some other channels, and I saw that when they did their montages, because I do them too, because nobody wants to watch somebody do 56 ratchet turns when I can narrow it down to 2 or 3, but there might be a little bit of music behind that, and that music volume level, it's important. And I've learned that over time, but those first, say, a couple hundred videos that are out there, I hadn't learned that lesson yet, and I can't even watch those videos without the volume turned down. So thank God for volume adjustments. And what was the other question here?
Your main job.
My main job, how did I forget that? Now, my job, because you asked, I actually do corporate human resources, if you can believe it. So I think it has more to do with my demeanor and my temperament and things like that I can, speak to people calmly and have these giant ears for listening.
Not having 4 kids. 4 kids.
4 kids helped me learn all that. I learned patience from her. So all those pieces of the puzzle came together, and that's what my main income stream is. And YouTube is a hobby and a passion because it revolves around my hobbies. But yeah, that's that one. What was the last one?
Okay, and your dream job.
My dream job, well, like most of you watching, I'm sure, said Top Gear, the Grand Tour. Now there's Car Trek that's on YouTube. Getting paid to drive and test out and play with all these different versions of vehicles and get paid for it, like, come on, that'd be a dream job, would it not? But she would say yes as long as she was allowed to travel with me. That's how that goes. So all the upcoming road trips, vlogs, those type of things, Mrs. Donslife entertains you and me on every one of those videos. So if you haven't watched many of them, you got to go back and check them out. She's hilarious.
I don't nap. I just talk and sing.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
You're ruining my video.
And zeros.
Oh, I'll leave it in. I'm gonna leave it in.
I was on electromagnetic.
Well, it's not me.
Oh, I was just getting my daily.
How do you explain yourself?
I can't.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, I hope I'm saying this right. At CSynth 4060, would an Elevation Grill 2023 fit on an AT4 2023?
All right, so I can try and answer this one. I would answer what I would do to figure it out. So I would go to eBay and I would look up a replacement grill for a 2023 Sierra, and I would look at the back view, because they always show you the back view usually in full color, so you can see where the tabs are if any are broken. And then I'd look up the same one in an Elevation. I don't know if I said Elevation or AT4, but I'd look up both of them and I would compare all the mounting spots. So I went ahead and I've done a little bit of that, and the mounting spots look the same. But then I would take it a step further and I would go to a GM parts website. So a lot of times you can see an exploded diagram of how all the parts are assembled, which bolts go where, and then they'll give you a part number listing for each of those parts. I just don't know firsthand because I've never looked into it, but that's kind of where I would start without going to talk to a body shop that deals with GMC vehicles all the time, or the parts counter, or the body shop at the dealership. But I think you can figure it out. All right, what's next?
At Sask Sledding 2008 asked, would you ever get a 2500 HD Sierra?
Maybe. 100% open to it. But the same reason I didn't get one when I picked up this truck and I did look at them is I don't know if I would have enough heavy duty use to justify the higher price tag. Now, if my needs change, if the channel keeps growing, maybe I need to get a trailer that I'm going to tow a car around more often, or maybe we get a bigger holiday trailer, a 5th wheel. Let's not encourage her, please. But if the channel grows enough to do that, then I do encourage you. I would have to have more uses for it than just bombing around town in the odd road trip. Oh, looks like this is the last one.
Last one.
All right.
Okay, at Fernando Molina 27196 asks, maybe the new 22 to 24 speedometer upgrade. I'm sure it's still plug and play.
Yeah, so he's asking if the brand new all digital gauge cluster or instrument cluster would be able to be purchased separately and then plugged into a truck like mine from just before the refresh. Even if the plugs fit in the back, which they might, I took a closer look and the mounting points do look a little bit off or a little bit different. So there's that. So you could use that eBay tip that I had to go check that out for yourself, and I'll put some overlays as I'm talking here. And the check engine light, airbag, warning icons, they're actually on a separate panel that's kind of in front of the digital screen. So upon closer inspection of that, I've noticed that it wouldn't sit in the same way as the screen does on mine. So I don't think it would fit. Now, for argument's sake, let's say you found a way to make it fit. I think there'd be dealer programming involved, and I don't know if they would even look at it. All right, so that is it. I only put these questions out 4 or 5 days ago, so I think we got a long enough video just based on those, but periodically I'll throw these out there. But as you know, I try to answer as many questions as I can. Sometimes they do get buried, so I apologize if I've I've never gotten around to your question. It's just been missed or buried, and maybe one day I'll get around to it again. But I'd like to thank Mrs. Donslife for helping with this video. But I think I'm getting a little tired from talking so much, so I'm gonna let Mrs. Donslife end us off.
Oh,
you know
no.
what to say, no pressure. This can be the outtake reel if you want.
Okay, if you like this video, thumbs up.
No, hit.
No. I can't ever do it.
Just trying, keep going.
If you like this video, please hit subscribe.
No.
Oh no.
If you like it, what do you hit?
The like button.
Say that. Tell them, boss them around, they like it.
Oh, my face is going red.
It's good.
If you like this video, hit this. Aw.
You got
If
it.
you like this video, hit the like button,
Yes.
and then please consider subscribing.
If you like today's video, hit that like button.
Please consider subscribing.
And
We'll talk to you next time.
no, all the way up.
Oh.
You gotta walk up now.
Oh, okay.